So today we're going to react to Rami from the group Babymonster, performing her live cover. Now at the Seoul show in 2025, on the group's international tour, she will be performing the song, Pick Up Your Feelings, by Jazmine Sullivan, which is a song about overcoming betrayal, self-empowerment, and being able to move past the pain of past experiences. And Rami, as you've seen before in my reactions to her, I consider her as a singer, among all 7 members, as someone truly ready, with a technique of an incredibly high caliber. Someone mentioned in the comments that she has apparently won awards as well, even as a trainee, and it seems she was the only trainee to receive an award in some ranking I'm not sure about. But comment below to clarify what actually happened. But if that's true, it was definitely well deserved. I consider her a singer who is just this close to becoming a huge star, not only in Asia but worldwide. She is truly a unique singer, impressive, and, as I said, this tour is her ultimate stress test. And for all the other girls too, but especially for her. And not just this year's tour. She is very young, 16 or 17 years old, but this and the upcoming tour will serve as stress tests for her to prove all the vocal quality we've seen in her past performances, on shows, and so on, and how she delivers that on stage, because this is the reality of a singer. It's her facing all the possible difficulties a stage can bring, of all kinds, and you know they've been through a lot of issues here, and all of that is absolutely normal. That's how it has to be. They need to go through this. So let's see what Rami delivers for us.
You said that I remember different, funny how far with this one. You didn't want to stop it, you're so sneaky, how I call you sneaky. You're often late, running my place. No more hit, I never got the balls of jumping, no phone, posters, burner, like to rack it up, no sense, they want on average, wake up, better energy, give me a chance, I don't think I got to go for action,
Her quality is absolutely insane. In the lower and mid-low range, she is doing absolutely everything I've mentioned in my previous reactions to her. All the transitions are very smooth so far. Now the song is about to change. I watched a snippet of this song on the first day. I saw that now she is going to pick up the guitar. I found it very interesting, and it was wonderful that she grabbed the guitar, sat down, and started playing this blues or jazz piece. It's intriguing, this complete silence. Her sitting there with the guitar, dry, bare guitar, which she doesn't play well, and she wanted to show everyone, I'm going to sing like this. And everyone is wondering, what is Rami trying to do here? What's going on? Is the song going to stay like this the whole time? Because her strumming on the guitar is very dry, and even a bit imprecise, and she wanted to show that I can sing well, but I'm also learning to play guitar, and I want to play what I've learned. This melody is introducing the song. We would have to check exactly what the lyrics say at the beginning. But she wanted to show that she wants to bring this blues quality to her performances, to her interpretations, and that she is already on this path, fully committed to this style. She added a drive to this note in the transition to the final lower note. That means she already has the full essence of R&B, jazz, and especially rock. Her vocal style is inspired by African American singers. It's spectacular. She has the tone, the power, the projection, the volume. Her lower range doesn't have as much volume as in African American singers, but that's perhaps only in the extreme low notes, where it lacks a bit of volume. Let's say 50% of her low notes don't have as much volume, although they still have a lot, but the other half has plenty. And she varies the volume in every melodic phrase. She transitions smoothly between her chest voice and head voice. We'll still hear some falsettos too. But in this section, she's in the mid-low, predominantly low range. She does whatever she wants with her voice. She sends it to the nasal cavity, projects it more rounded, emphasizing each part according to what the lyrics are expressing. She is incredible. By the way, I love the moment when she stands up and says, "Let's go." That's a lot of confidence. Of course, she rehearsed that beforehand, but she wanted to show herself as bold and secure, and she truly has that confidence. Wow. She moves into falsetto and back effortlessly, as if it's no challenge at all. And that's hard. It's very difficult. Rami is unbelievable. She made a huge volume variation, but I'm not sure if you noticed it. It's hard to show. It's a great technical richness. It's hard to show. Of course, I'm a classical singer, so I don't master even 1% of what she's using here. I don't even know how to execute it. But she made a huge volume variation in this last phrase where I stop. She is in this slightly more middle region, with volume here, and she lowers it here. Of course, this is related to what the lyrics are saying. And in this last note here, she also comes back fitting it in. The voice comes like this, and she projects the low voice down here. She slightly increases the volume and with a flawless fit. Impeccable fit. Her expression. Her physical expression too. Her gestures, her face. It's unbelievable what she's doing. This girl is a ready-made star. It's absurd. You can keep her right. Don't forget to come and pick your home. Relax. Don't leave no pieces. The time is spent in the past, yeah. And I want to let you have not made no snake girl. Who else don't you? You're looking forward to me, right? And here, it's a strong declamation. Many words, properly a blues or jazz, that she's doing here. And she lacks nothing compared to African American singers. Absolutely nothing. It's a very good interpretation, and by the way, low register. It's a low region. She delivers with very high quality. Really. There are two singers from K-pop and J-pop. Jazmine and her. I'd love to see them sing together, because they are very out-of-the-box singers. They have different vocal schools, with different emphases. Jazmine from XG has a stronger emphasis on American pop. A voice, with a fuller voice, with brightness, with greater emphasis on head voice, without as many resonance changes and nuances in register transitions as there are in blues and jazz. They are distinct schools, but both have incredibly impressive qualities. Here, she is delivering live, just as I expected her to.
You're looking forward to me, right? Now I take to wait on me.
Here, there's nothing more to say about this. She does it and thinks nothing is happening. Whatever. I just do it. For her, it's easy, very natural. She moves from chest voice to head voice, and suddenly, you hear that she's already in whistle register. From here downwards, not just in terms of note scale, but the register transition doesn't exist, it's not noticeable. Here we are listening to the sound from the phone camera. But this also happens in the performances she did, for example, on Lee Mujin. It's the same thing. And there, they also process the sound to make her voice a bit rounder. This is it. This girl is extraordinary. I'm as impressed with her as I am with Jazmine from XG. They are truly out-of-the-box singers. This is hard. I'm very impressed.
You're looking forward to me, right?
She places her voice on the palette, using that covered voice technique. But it's also hard to explain because, depending on the phrase she sings, she doesn't stick to just one internal vocal setup. She alters it in every phrase. So sometimes she's more vocal, other times she emphasizes her nasal tone. Sometimes she throws it into the palette like now. And she does it without necessarily using the covered projection technique. She just directs it to the palette to achieve that characteristic timbre that comes from palette resonance. It's scary.
You're looking forward to me, right? Now I take to wait on me.
Her falsetto transitions are just unbelievable. And I still suspect that sometimes she blends it with her head voice. It's done so well that you can't tell where it begins. Where exactly is she? At the top of her head voice, or at the start of her falsetto, or even in the whistle register. It's just too perfect. You can't fully grasp all that's happening here. You just hear a polished performance and think, wow, she sings really well. But for those of you who aren't singers, there's so much going on here that it's hard to put into words. And then she adds drive. Wow, she has drive. This is what a high-end is missing. I'll comment on that when reacting to her performance. Once a high-end learns how to use drive, she'd be a different singer. It's the tiny detail she still lacks. Wow, this girl is truly on another level. And her lower register is just spectacular. Everything she does includes vibrato, and the vibratos can have a large or small oscillation amplitude. That also depends on the phrase, on the moment she is fitting it in. She knows where to place it. She is complete, a fully formed singer, period. She is a soloist, and she does whatever she wants. Any song she wants, she can do, including what K-pop limits her to. K-pop limits her, she is not a K-pop singer. That's the reality. Something I notice, and it's truly remarkable, is her technique here. It is very rich, and she will always seek to bring complexity to what she is about to perform melodically. And often, K-pop, and I'll explain why. If you analyze what she did, if you break down what she did on stage with the other girls in the group songs, she is like, in soccer terms, Messi, Ronaldinho Gaucho, and Neymar, players who make a difference in the game. They will score goals, but above all, they will always find a way in and out of difficult, complex situations. If they're facing 4 players, all crammed together, what will they do in this tough situation? They will dribble their way out. It was a tough situation, seemingly lost, but they find a way to get out, so the goal can happen. We can draw this analogy to other sports. So Rami, she will always put herself in a situation that is more complex melodically. No matter how simple the melodic line is, she will try to add an embellishment. She will make things more complicated, so to speak, because she can. And so, what is noticeable? In the group songs she performed, both on day 1, this is the video from day 2. This is the video from day 2, on both day 1 and day 2. She gets a bit tangled up. She will still figure this out. Sometimes she needs to sing more simply. It's basically about toning down her quality to sing basic pop. Because pop music is not complex in melodic terms. That's a fact. And that's not a criticism. It's a musical approach, and that's fine. Why shouldn't there be simpler songs? Of course, there can be. So, blues and jazz have a certain level of complexity. Classical music is on another, even higher level of complexity. K-pop is below that. And it's not meant to be complex. It's the kind of music you put on to dance. To move, smile, jump, etc. It's a different kind of approach. Not that one is superior, or one is good and the other is bad, nothing like that. They are just different approaches. So Rami is really at that level of blues, jazz, rock. If she wants to sing rock, she will, and at a high level. I hope she does. I want her to. She already needs to start recording her solos. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but she has the level for it. To record her solos, to make an album of jazz, blues, whatever she wants. With her playing guitar, I hope she keeps the guitar in her shows and learns to do more complex things with the guitar. She is spectacular. Definitely, she is really, truly on a much higher technical level than the other girls. But this doesn't mean that, Like in this common situation among K-pop fans, this one is better, but the other one is bad. The other one is, that's not it. They all receive the same vocal technique training. All 7 of them are receiving it. Some, due to talent, affinity, and by talent, I mean the following. For example, she has this voice, with this metallic quality, this projection, a big, rounded voice. That also has the characteristic of East Asian singing, with that nasal quality, but she can step out of it when she wants to. And another thing, physiologically, she is similar to Rora as well. She's very young but already has a very mature body, so her voice is following suit. She has this talent, so to speak, and her biological and physiological characteristics give her this voice. She has this natural ease, and she undergoes the same training. So, each one will develop at their own pace, according to their musical preferences and where they want to go. But as I said, they are 7 soloists in this group. But this is really another level. She is progressing much faster than the other girls and delivering something that we can now just savor. That's it, she's a star. No doubt about it. I can't say for sure yet, because as I mentioned, the tour will still bring a lot of growth for her, especially as she has to learn what I just talked about, singing the group's songs in a simpler way, understanding how to apply all of her vocal qualities, what aspects of her voice she should use in these simpler group songs. So, if you like this video, leave a like and a comment. Subscribe to the channel to see reactions to the other girls in the group. And also consider making a donation to the channel through the PayPal button or the Super Thanks button below. And if my Patreon is available, you can also watch this video in color with the original sound, as well as other videos on that platform. Okay, that's it for today. See you next time.